My sweethearts, what it do? Get y'all lighters up, my sweetheart. I know y'all like, where your girl been at? My sweetheart's nowhere, chilling, just sitting around looking at the Justice YouTube streets, just chilling, you know? So I said, let your girl come in. I looked at this story, my sweethearts, and I had to come and bring it to y'all. You hear me? I don't know to laugh for real or be serious. You know, we do so much justice over here, my sweethearts, that now, it's when I heard any stories, I'm like, should I be shocked? You know what I'm saying? Should I be shocked? That's where I'm at with these stories and investigations, anything. Should I be shocked? But this here, I don't know, like I said, to laugh and not no death. I'm not talking about laughing at people's deaths, none of that. My sweethearts, Albany or Albany, you know what I'm saying? Whatever way they want to say that word. Landlord, right? Albany, I will say that. Is an Albany landlord, right, my sweethearts? Accused of kidnapping tenants. I know y'all like, what? Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I'm getting my lighters all the way up right now as I'm talking. My sweethearts, a Albany landlord accused of kidnapping tenants. Okay? Because he couldn't evict. Because he couldn't evict them. Now that's what right there I'm laughing like, oh my goodness, what? So I gotta worry about my landlord kidnapping me? Oh my goodness. My sweethearts, the funny part about that is, oh my goodness, he is kidnapping for his cash. You gonna pay him his rent. Now that's what the humor of that was. You know what I'm saying? Because your girl Jennifermdarealest don't find nothing funny. Are you serious? That's what I just gotta keep saying. You telling me your landlord came up in your property, well, his property, but came up in the space of your, home or apartment, condo, whatever you renting. And you telling me he kidnapped you? Or, kidnapped a tenant. Not just a tenant, my sweetheart, tenants. Because he couldn't evict them. Oh my goodness. But that's not, now I'm ready to get serious. The not serious, the not funny part is, my sweethearts, he was leaving them at a cemetery 30 miles away. Do y'all hear me? So you ain't gonna tell me that I'm not running this justice. I'm gonna run justice for everyone, everybody, do you see, my sweethearts? Everything needs some justice. Everything. Even tenants. You gotta worry about your landlord coming to scrape you up. My sweethearts, y'all don't have your lighters up by now and get it with your girl. Y'all heard me? You telling me I don't need to be aware and bring this awareness? Man, yes I do. Yes I do. A tenant, a landlord doing that to the tenants, then killing them. This unbelievable. My sweethearts, let's keep going. New York, that's what I want to say. Why I'm saying these lights is up. Yeah, this y'all. New York, lights is all the way up. This is y'all. Albany, New York, let's get it. That's what's going on out there. I'm shocked. Any of my sweethearts from there? New York? Because I'm sick of this. I don't know. See, I'm ready to go in real fast, my sweethearts, before I do this. Because I'm so sick of everybody. There's a lot of people out here that's going off because of this pandemic. Acting a fool. Acting like they doing stuff to people. There's a lot of people hurting people. Because they don't want to listen to the pandemic. Follow the rules of the pandemic. So now these landlords out here thinking y'all somebody. That think y'all going to do something to somebody. Now your girl getting serious with this. Because it was funny at first, but this is really going on out here. The authority, which is the landlord, your bill people calling up. You don't get off our phones during this pandemic going. Some people trying to survive. Straight up. And what I mean by survive, if y'all don't hear me clear, some people are trying to survive with their life. let alone survive with the household. And you got none to be coming up and being somebody's landlord and you want to evict them due to a pandemic. Now you out here murdering people. I'm going to keep saying this. For anybody that think Jennifermdarealest is extra, guess what? I'm extra mean, extra crazy, extra lit. Pandemic that. Because I ain't playing with you. I'm extra all the way around the board. During this pandemic time. Doing people like that. It could have been old people. We don't know. So let's get it. Like I said again, in Albany, landlord is facing charges. Accused of kidnapping tenants. He couldn't evict due to the pandemic. Oh, dirty somebody. Shawn Douglas is now out on bail. He was in there, he was locked up. Whatever the case may be, he is now out on bail. What's wrong with you? I don't know why. If that's the one they talking about, I don't know why. His tenants tell police they were abducted early Sunday morning at gunpoint, restrained with zip ties and covered with pillowcases. Okay, see, this pandemic is doing a lot. It's going to make people catch charges. It's going to make people do stuff, turn into people they didn't even know they had in them. They say Douglas then dumped them at a cemetery 30 miles away in Ghent. This don't make no sense. He's lucky they came out of that alive. Okay, something that was alive. They could have froze to death out there. This don't make no sense. Whatever the case may be, Albany County Sheriff Craig Apple said, you have to be tolerant. There is a process. I didn't invent it. So don't call down here to the sheriff's office screaming and yelling like everybody has been for the last 12 months. But yeah, that's what the sheriff is saying. This don't make no sense.
Dozens of independent landlords who say their tenants have been taking advantage of the COVID eviction moratorium.
And today we spoke to two elderly New Yorkers who are desperate for help. They say that the state law is draining them in the last years of their life. CBS 2's Natalie Duddridge reports.
In December 2018, 94-year-old Ignatius Bill Pantano rented out his condo on Benson Avenue in Brooklyn, and the problems with his tenant started immediately.
I see that you're having difficulty paying rent. You could stay a month free and then leave. And he says, I refuse to go.
Pantano filed eviction paperwork, but it took months to make its way through the courts. Finally, an eviction date was set for April 2020, but in March, the coronavirus shut down the city and evictions were put on hold. Now Pantano says he's out $50,000, the income he desperately needs to live.
I'm a pretty healthy guy, and I ended up in a hospital because of this.
In Harlem, another stressful housing dispute for 88-year-old David Housen. In the 1960s, he saved up to buy this 10-unit building on West 129th Street that his daughter Jessica now manages due to his worsening Alzheimer's. Issues with some tenants not paying rent began before the pandemic, but now they can't be evicted due to the moratorium.
We have to unload the property because we're really destitute. We really have nothing now.
At Governor Cuomo's daily briefing, we asked him about the thousands of evictions unrelated to COVID that have been paused.
These are desperate landlords. They are wondering what they can do.
Well, Natalie, the law is the law. You can't claim COVID hardship if you weren't paying rent before COVID.
But attorneys we spoke with say there's a massive gap between what's being said and what's actually happening.
The marshal's office basically were closed. I mean, they couldn't do anything for months.
CBS 2 obtained emails from a sheriff's officer whose job it is to perform evictions. On June 29th, he wrote, "Unfortunately, our efforts to proceed with evictions have once again been put on hold." Another email written on October...
I'm with that right there, if y'all can hear that, my sweethearts. If these people have not been paying rent and they already in a hole. That shouldn't apply for them. This pandemic stuff, it shouldn't apply for them. Because let me tell you something. If people out here, tenants out here being bums and not paying their rent, I don't think this pandemic should go for them. I don't. Because if you already was not paying your rent, no, this pandemic shouldn't go for you. Because that means you already was not paying it before the pandemic. So my thing is, what was you doing at that time? Now, if that happened. But let me tell you something right now. Douglas, I don't care what they wasn't paying. I don't think nobody deserved to be dead or tied up. You taking them to cemeteries to their death because they bums or they didn't pay their rent. I'm not gonna condone that. No. No. Just because somebody ain't pay a rent, you do the right things. You go and do what it takes to get them out of there. You don't just take nobody child because you don't know who renting for you. It could be someone kid, young adult. What, you just gonna kill the children too? Kill somebody 90-something-year-old grandma? So no, I'm not a condoning the death and all that, tying them up, taking them outside. Who is you? So they did lock him up. Shawn Douglas was arrested, my sweethearts, after he allegedly abducted 2 tenants. He was unable to evict due to the COVID. Like I said, COVID-19 restrictions. He's from New York. Like I said, he lives in New York. He is facing kidnapping charges after he allegedly, like I just said, tied up 2 of his tenants. Covered their heads, like I told y'all in the beginning, with pillowcases. And left them at a snowy cemetery, basically to die. And they arrested, the Albany police arrested 48-year-old Shawn Douglas on Monday afternoon and charged his butt with second-degree kidnapping in connection with the incident on Sunday morning. Who are you? According to charging documents, my sweethearts, obtained by HuffPost, Douglas forcibly restrained a 32-year-old male tenant and a 21-year-old female tenant sometime between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. Police say he used zip ties and tape to restrain them before covering their heads with pillowcases and forcing them into his vehicle. Police said Douglas then drove them at gunpoint to a cemetery, again filled with snow, where he left them inside of the snow. My sweetheart, this is like I said, I gotta have my lighters up. I never know what I'm gonna read or what I'm gonna bring to y'all, my sweethearts. Eventually, the female victim, excuse me, was able to free herself and get help from a nearby house. Thank you, Jesus, because it would have been more deaths. We don't know what this man already did to some people who got him angry. It had to be, he already had to do this before. Believe that. You ain't just thought of this in no 1 minute. You did this before to some other tenants who ain't pay you that rent. Douglas had been frustrated as he was unable to evict the tenant due to COVID-19 restrictions. They got him real mad. New York State placed a moratorium on evictions for tenants who have experienced hardships due to the pandemic until May 1st. Yes, and that's what it should be. This don't make no sense. He, my sweetheart, was previously charged with assault and violating a restraining order. That's how he got locked up before they called in on him. This don't make no sense. You see why I tell y'all, my sweetheart, stay up, stay alert, and stay vigilant? You get what I'm saying? You see what I mean by that? I don't mean, just stay up, stay looking, stay alert. No. Stay vigilant. And what I mean by that is the people the closest around you. This is the people who can have access to you and to your life. Real stuff, my sweethearts. Never a million years you would think your landlord would do something like that to you. Your landlord. He is facing kidnapping charges, tying up tenants. Oh my goodness. Armed robbery charges because he been robbing stuff. I mean, this man off the chain. That's all I gotta say. Gunpoint, robbing people at gunpoint. This is bad. Well, kidnapping them, at gunpoint. Because he don't want nothing from them. He robbing them from their innocence. You get me, my sweethearts? He's sacking them up, packing them up, and taking them out. That's what he doing. He an angry landlord. So if y'all have these landlords out here, please pay y'all rent, my sweethearts. Real stuff. That's why I say I can laugh a little bit with this, but once it comes to the killing and stuff, it's not funny. It's not. But make sure y'all paying y'all rent. You best to believe that. But if you have these landlords, my sweethearts, that come up to your houses, want to come in there when they don't supposed to be doing that, y'all take precautions. You hear me? Take some precautions. Y'all know what ain't right. Come on. Landlord coming up with a Glock, grabbing both of y'all out, tying y'all up. My sweethearts, I want y'all just to chime in with your girl if y'all from New York, if y'all heard about this, or whatever the case may be. It's your girl, Jennifermdarealest. I want y'all to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. And it's your girl, and I'm out.